My name is Dr. Maureen Frank, and I'm an assistant professor and extension wildlife specialist for Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service. In this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about Aldo Leopold's 5 tools for wildlife management. Aldo Leopold is commonly known as the father of wildlife management because he was one of the first people to formally consider the practices that we use to manage wildlife and their habitat. And he wrote down a lot of these concepts and considered the science behind these ideas in his book Game Management, which was published in 1933. In that book, there's a quote: "Game can be restored by the creative use of the same tools which have heretofore destroyed it: axe, cow, plow, fire, and gun." Now, in the 1930s, wildlife and their habitats had been mismanaged all across America to where many of our species that we know are plentiful today were nearly extinct. So Aldo Leopold knew that something had to change. Now, the reason that those populations were so low and in a lot of trouble is because those tools had been used incorrectly. The axe had been used to cut down way too many trees in our forested areas. Cows had been stocked at really high densities so that our prairies were overgrazed. The plow had been used to convert areas to cropland without thinking about the wildlife that also needed that land. Fire, instead of being overused, was being underused. Fire was suppressed, so this natural phenomena that used to occur on the landscape wasn't there anymore in a lot of places. And finally, the gun was used for overharvest. This is especially why our game species, such as deer, turkeys, quail, ducks, and even species that we don't think of as game anymore today, such as egrets and herons, had been harvested to very, very low numbers. However, Aldo Leopold said that it wasn't that these tools themselves were bad to use, it's just that we were using them in the wrong way, and we needed to change that. So one of the things we talk about at Brigades Camp is how to use those tools correctly. Now, one important concept to consider is why use the tools at all? And a lot of people that would argue that the best thing we could do for this landscape is to just not do anything. Unfortunately, that's not true anymore. If 200 years ago we could have left areas where we didn't do anything and didn't have a human impact, that would have been great. But we've already had a big impact on these areas, so now it's our responsibility to manage them so that they can continue to be good wildlife habitat. So, come join us next year at Brigades Camp and learn about how to use the axe, the plow, the cow, fire, and the gun to manage wildlife populations in the right way. Thanks, and we hope to see you next year.